Good afternoon, my awesome subscribers and followers of the channel. I appreciate your support. Yeah, what a 24 hours. I'm a little bit stunned, but if I'm going to be honest, I'm stunned in a good way, a really good way. I have my hat, yep, and I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but you got to bear in mind, he is the new president. He's the president-elect, and he'll be sworn in January. And whether you like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, get used to it. Is that a good thing for the UK? I'm not sure. It should be. It should be a fantastic thing for the UK, but I'm not too sure. And I'll tell you why. Right. When Donald Trump was the 45th president, he promised to support the UK. He said that when we left the European Union as the UK, if the UK left the European Union, America would give the UK a fantastic trade deal and not to worry about the EU. We would be looked after. That was what he said. Then he didn't get elected. And Joe Biden became the 46th president of the United States of America. Hi, everyone. Do you know what that meant for us? It meant hell. Because Joe Biden, even though he's a Democrat, Joe Biden has roots with the Irish Republic, the Republic of Ireland. He does not like the UK. He's against British. He's all for Ireland. He doesn't like the fact the UK occupied what he would call the north of Ireland. And believe it or not, we haven't had a trade deal with the United States of America, who are meant to be our closest allies. We haven't had a trade deal with them since Joe Biden took office. Now, this has led to us losing money. Believe it or not, the UK and US trade at the minute is worth over 300 billion. It is. It should have increased. Now, if Donald Trump had have been elected instead of Biden, we would have a fantastic trade deal and we would be thriving. But Biden is punishing the UK, his administration, for leaving the European Union. So we never got a good trade deal. We've had a shit trade deal. He has treated the UK terribly. In fact, to such a degree that now the Labour Party are in charge of the United Kingdom. Believe it or not, our foreign secretary, our current foreign secretary, David Lammy, has described the President of the United States as a tyrant in a toupee. He's our foreign secretary. Our own Prime Minister sent 100 Labour delegates to the US to promote Kamala Harris. So can you see this working out well for us? Well, there's a possibility. I've listened to this morning's Prime Minister's questions, and the newly elected Tory leader, Kemi Badenoch, stated, Mr. Prime Minister, are you going to reach out to President-elect and invite him to the House? Our Prime Minister stood up and he avoided the question and he said the UK will work with the US for economic and financial matters and security. She then stood back up and said, you didn't answer the question. Are you going to formally invite the President-elect to the United Kingdom to speak in the House? And he stood up and he avoided the question again. So I honestly believe right now Donald Trump, President-elect, will do a fantastic job for Americans. But as a UK citizen, why should he bend over backwards and help us when our current Prime Minister is a scumbag? We need to look at this logically, don't we? So can you see him our Prime Minister doing a good job? Well, you know, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait out to see how this unfolds, actually. But for Americans, it's a good thing. It's a fantastic thing. I want to point this out because what I did today was I look at things and I make sure I have the right information. So basically, in June 2023, last year, President Biden and our own Prime Minister then, Rishi Sunak, did sign an Atlantic Declaration. It was like a goodwill gesture. It was bullshit. It was a goodwill gesture where they agreed to lower tariffs and help each other out with things like electric vehicles, things which are nonsense. So they agreed all that stuff, yeah, which didn't, to be honest with you, let me point this out. Electric vehicles add no value whatsoever to the ordinary working family because they're far too expensive for ordinary citizens to afford. So again, electric vehicles for the people on very, very good wages, which, as we can see, there's now hundreds of thousands of electric vehicles throughout Europe and the US sitting in massive unused warehouses. No one's buying them. So that was a good push. Now, that's what's been happening. So they signed that. However, since we left the European Union, talks have broken down with ex-President Joe Biden about a trade agreement. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? The UK and America, we're part of a thing called Five Eyes, where we share intelligence and security. Yep, Australia's part of it as well. So we're all part of this. But it's always been a one-sided relationship. In the last 4 years with Joe Biden, he has not added any value to the UK. In fact, can you imagine it? Let's go back a couple of years ago when the US administration, Biden administration, decided to walk away from Afghanistan and not even tell its partners, its closest allies. This is why he didn't get elected. It's one of those things, isn't it? Well, it's a shame. It's a shame what's happened between us and our cousins across the pond. It really is. I know as a military and as a nation, we share everything. We get on, we share it. It's just a shame that both our current governments don't get on. And when you consider, thanks, Kat, when you consider that we're meant to be really, really close allies with the US, it's quite clear that the UK Prime Minister and the US President at the minute are putting their own personal feelings in front of those of their country, in front of their own country. Biden has a grudge against the UK because the UK occupied Northern Ireland, and Biden has close links with the Republic of Ireland. Quite sad, isn't it? But it is what it is, unfortunately. It is. I think I may have a guest coming on. Let's see. What do the pants mean? What do the pants mean? No idea what that even means. So I don't know what you're talking about. Right. Let's have a look here. Debbie's on. Debbie Scott's last. Hi, Debs. What's this other one here? What's this here? Politics. Oh, from Foxy. Hi, Foxy. Politics is no longer here to represent their citizens and people. Foxy, I agree with you. Unfortunately, politics is now, politicians now have their own agendas, and it's quite clear that people in the UK should be celebrating. We should be celebrating that the president-elect is Donald Trump. We should be celebrating. But I would like to see if he gets elected, will he hold a grudge against our Prime Minister who has treated him terribly? Let's hope not. Welcome. And here we have our ex-British patriot, who's now an American patriot. Yeah. How's things with you? How are you feeling?
Trevor, we're gonna make America great again. We're gonna make England great again. It's sad, Keir Starmer. He's a bit of a cuck. He's a bit of a cuck, but that's okay. That's okay. He can sit in the corner. That's okay, but we're gonna do it for the people. It's gonna be awesome. Ha ha ha!
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, last night I did a live, and just to let you know, I think you know this anyway. A lot of people out there a lot of people now, not on this channel, because my channel is full of educated people, but a lot of people out there don't understand anything what's going on. A lot of people believe what the media say. In fact, the media lie about a lot of things.
No,
I had a lady on last night in the chat who accused Donald Trump of being like Hitler. And I'm like, listen, I just got rid of her. Just go. I mean, people comparing, it's just, it doesn't make sense. But I I feel happy that he has been re-elected. This is a good thing. Now, the one thing that I will hold him to, because I can't hold people to things, is that he did say he would help to end the Ukraine and Russia war.
Oh, that's going to be done. It's going to be done.
But as a UK citizen, I mean, that is amazing because it's costing taxpayers here hundreds of millions of pounds a year. And we've got rid of all our pensioners, winter fuel allowance. We've shit all over the British people. So as far as I'm concerned, if he does manage to end that, it's amazing. It'll save the US taxpayers billions of dollars. But I'm now sitting thinking, at what cost? Will Ukraine have to give up land to Russia? I mean, how's he going to negotiate this? It's a very interesting time ahead, mate.
It is. It is. And I want to say, like, Kia, what kind of name is that? I don't understand that name. It's a strange name. Who calls their kid Kia? After a car, and not a great car. Kia. Come on, Trevor. Come on. Now look.
I was sitting going through what you're going to rhyme Kia with. I mean, over here it's two-tier Kia, but
yeah, well, there's that as well.
There's a lot. Hi, Debs. Oh, Matt for UK ambassador.
Yeah, I will take it. I said that I will take coming back to the UK to be the UK ambassador, and I would put those people in their place, Trevor.
Well, I think that we're very fortunate in a way now that people may not like this, but we have Nigel Farage, who's now a member of Parliament, who is a very, very good friend with the US president, the president-elect. So that can be a bonus for us in a way. Yeah, and I can see President Trump wanting to speak with Nigel rather than wanting to speak to the current foreign secretary who called him a tyrant in a toupee. So,
well, that guy is a complete moron, right? Like David Lammy. Lamination, I call him. Lammy, you're a laminate. Silence to the Lammies. I say, Lammy, silence. Real big people are here now. Now, look, I mean, just going back to what you said, because this is really, really important. So 54% of Latino men voted for Trump. Right. Okay. You got to wonder. And this is one of the things that I have to deal with, Trevor. I know. I mean, look, you and I speak daily about these things. So that's why so many people follow you, because they know that you have a no BS approach and you're very informed on these things. The fact that it's the same thing with what they did over there to the people that came out and said about that monster that killed those 3 beautiful girls. Yep. When they came out and they said, this is Islamic terrorism. I mean, if it looks like Islamic terrorism, if it walks like Islamic terrorism, it's probably going to be Islamic terrorism. And the reaction from the left over there, and it is like a very extreme thing, because let me tell you something, what has happened here is Trump is going to keep those commies in line. And that's what they are. They're Marxist communists, right? Yeah. And so what happened over there when people were like, hang on a second, we want our kids to be safe. What did they say? Oh, you know, you're Islamophobes, you're this, you're that, you're this. And they just come out with this diatribe, which, as you know, Trevor, in the same way that you've had your trolls, they want to silence you. That's what it is. And you know what? Nobody gives a shit anymore. We don't care if you call us Nazis because we know what we are. We don't care if you call us white supremacists. We know we're not. If we're white supremacists, you're going to tell the 54% Latino men that they're white supremacists. Everybody knew it was bullshit. And let me just say this, because I am fired up about this. I'm very, very fired up about this. It's super important, right? This is the death of mainstream media. It is done. It's over. They're finished.
Yep. I agree with you. I had someone in the chat there saying, hold on, Trevor, Trump takes the bindings off the military. I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, the thing is that I've noticed, and I think we've all noticed, now, regardless what people think, America has major dominance on the West. It always has. Mm-hmm. That's why he's called, the president's called the leader of the free world. A lot of things done in America filter across to the UK, regardless what it is.
Yeah.
In fact, it was under the Biden administration that the gender issue cropped up. It was under the Biden administration that BLM, they tried to defund the police, backed by Kamala Harris. I mean, all the nonsense comes across. And the one thing that I will point out is that people say, well, if some people say, well, no, Trevor, that's not true. I want to point out that, ready? The media is run by Americans. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, Messenger, every single thing is controlled over in the US. So whenever we have people like, now Zuckerberg's changed. He's changed in the last year. But up until then, he was pretty much silencing all our questioning of issues. And it was under American administration, let's say the Biden administration.
Yeah, it's true.
Where they pumped out stuff to do, I don't want to say the word on here, but they pumped out the narratives about why we were being locked down.
That's
and if anyone questioned it, under American authority, we were taken off social media and we were silenced. So I'm glad that Trump now has Zuckerberg in his corner. He's now got Elon Musk in his corner. And he has, Vance seems to be, let's hope Vance keeps going the way he's going. But I think things are going to change for the better. I just hope that my current UK Prime Minister grows a set of bollocks and actually has the decency to welcome him than be quite frosty, which he's being at the minute, mate.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, so just talking about what you just said, there comes a point where, and this is the thing about liberals, they have no morals, right? So like when you stood up and you started talking about things and you wouldn't bend and you did it on principle, you do it on principle, even though you lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Pounds, right? When I did it, I lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Yeah. Because we understand that there are things that are bigger than ourselves, right? So the first thing is, Trev, we've just literally stopped World War III. Right, we've just stopped it. By Trump coming in, you're going to watch everything go, ooh, like there's not going to be any more wars, right? There's not going to be any new wars under Trump, right? He's the only president in the last few years that didn't start a new war, right? So let's put that to one side. Here's the thing. If Elon Musk hadn't have bought Twitter, Trump would not have won the election, right? Because there was massive suppression of information under Jack Dorsey, right? And they couldn't get away with it, right? There were people there at the voting places showing. They were going, blah, blah. I mean, and I could go on and on and on, Trev, about the fact that the last election, I don't know if I can say it on this channel, so I'm not going to, but
we understand.
Okay, right? So, and now you're seeing this giant groundswell, right? And that's because the regular people know what's up. And if you guys go on X right now and look at how the elites are talking about you and me, right? They're going out there, they're like, these people are educated, they're stupid, they're this.
Yeah.
This is what they think of us, right? It truly is. And the days of labor being for the working man are gone. It's over. Now, the conservatives are a bunch of muppets as well, right? They blew it, right? Let's be honest, Trev. They don't know what they're talking about. And even there was some kind of I think it was, I don't know who it was who said this, but someone from, was it Tice or someone like that, said something really disparaging about, I think it was about like Tommy Robinson and whatever. And I'm like, you don't even understand your core demographic, right? But here's the thing, going back to the tech thing, the Google guys called Trump and congratulated him, right? They already did it. Zuckerberg was already moving that way because you know what? When you have kids, you start looking, and instead of making all the money yourself, and look, your whole life has been about sacrifice, Trev. Your whole life has been about sacrifice. You've gone out there and you fought for your country. You fought for what you thought was right. You came back. You fought for Veterans Affairs. Right, even though these shitbags came around and they tried to hamper you, and we're all seeing it now, and everybody watching this knows, me and Trevor speak about this all the time, it's coming for you, right? The guys that came out that tried to undermine you, he who laughs last laughs longest, right? So it's all going to be revealed, and this is the same thing with Trump. They tried to tie him up, right, in court. It's all BS. They tried to kill him, and then we got to a point where everyone was like, enough. Like, just stop telling us how our lives are great when we know that we can't afford things that we used to afford. And what has happened today, Trev? What has happened today? Bitcoin, the Dow, like all these things are going up because I'm telling you right now, the 80s are coming back again. It's going to be amazing. And you know what? Keir Starmer's not going to be there if he's not going to play ball, because the Brits, and I know this, like all the people on here that you've very kindly sent over to my channel, they're all hitting me up and they're like, this is it, man. We need you to win. We need Trump to win. They recognize it. And when you see the good times rolling again, Brits are going to like, we can have that. And guess what, guys? You can have that.
Well, I'm hoping that we get the trade deal now that he promised us last time. And the trade deal where Biden didn't give us, he didn't give us one for 4 years. I mean, if anything, our trade has dropped, and I read it today. Our trade under the Biden administration dropped by just under 2%. That's billions a year because Biden didn't give us a trade agreement, because he has a grudge against the UK, and it's quite clear that he has it. I mean, the one thing that I'm always going to bring up for the rest of my life is the fact he left UK soldiers in Afghanistan and turned his back on us.
Yeah.
I mean, and he cost the lives of many US Marines that were protected, that were left.
Yes, he did.
I mean, and then he lied about it, and Kamala lied about it. No one's died under my watch. Well, you did. So I'm glad to see the back of Biden. But what I did notice, and I'm going to give him a bit of credit right now, actually, and I've never done that before, but Biden turned his back on Kamala's watch party.
Yeah.
And
there's no love lost there, dude. I'm telling you right now.
But Jill Biden turned up to vote dressed in red in Trump's Republican colors. That says a lot.
Dude, listen, here's the thing. When you don't stand for anything, and all you want is power, and Jill Biden, look, Jill Biden, I think, is an evil woman because she allowed her husband, who is clearly cognitively declined. I think he was when he ran. I personally think that they were both so bad that they were throwaway candidates. And now you're seeing if something hadn't have happened all those years ago, there's no way they would have won, right? There's no way. And so Jill Biden has been rolling out her husband. And I'm telling you now, if anyone on this chat, I'll ask the people on the chat, right? Would you allow your husband, father, grandfather to be rolled out like that for power, right? When clearly he's in decline, and he's going to be remembered for that. He's going to be remembered for being in decline. But Jill is power hungry, right? And she did not think, because don't forget, Biden was replaced by Harris, right? They didn't want that to happen. It's not like they were all like, oh, yay, we got Kamala Harris. They were mad. And I'll tell you this right now. It's a circular firing squad, Trev, because they were so angry that Kamala Harris got installed by the DNC that Jill Biden was pissed. I would not be surprised if she voted for Trump.
Well, she turned up in a lovely red suit on voting day.
I'm just saying.
Sets precedence, doesn't it? Why would you do that? I mean, see people at that level on the social ladder, they wear stuff. They wear things to make a statement.
Yeah, it's all coordinated, brother. You know that.
Exactly.
You know that.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, all I can do is hold out, and let's hope that things over here. Hopefully, he'll make UK great again.
Well, Trevor, when I become ambassador to the UK, right, I'd love to meet with David Lammy. Can you imagine that meeting? Can you imagine if I was the ambassador to the UK?
Oh, mate, I once shared a video of him. Well, I once shared a video of him. Whenever I was on Twitter, I think it was back in 2016 or 17. I shared a video that was of David Lammy when he was like, I don't know if it feels like we've lost policing, but I mean, I haven't seen it. Remember that video?
Yeah, there was a guy
There was a
right
police
behind
officer
him.
standing
He was
behind.
right there.
I
Dude,
haven't
they're
seen a police
all
officer.
bullshit merchants in the UK. Look, here's the difference, right? The people that are on your channel that follow you, they're clued up, right? They're super smart. They know what's going on. They see the way things are. The majority of people are sleepwalking through their lives, right?
Yes.
They're just, they don't really want conflict. And I understand that. Right. I do understand it because people don't want to feel pain. Right. But
No.
there's people like you who are leaders. They're out there going, you don't understand the pain that will come if you don't confront it now. Right. Like, you know, this, like the idea of appeasement in war is ridiculous. Right. You have to go and you got to meet it head on. And what happened over in the US, it is more of a nation of extremes, right? Like I said, you can still go and get eaten by a wild animal in the US, right? You can go outside and get, like, even here, I can go out here and get bitten by a rattlesnake, and that'll be it. You don't really have.
You can also go out. You can also go out and buy a tank. All right. I mean, there's
You can. And you've seen my little arsenal that I have over here, so you know I'm all right. I'm all right. But but you know, I think that like you said, America sneezes, the world catches a cold, and I think that unfortunately there was a day when the UK was the world power, right? And I really would urge everyone on your channel to go and read a little bit about the Revolutionary War, because I think that every single person that is on here would have sided with the United States, like what they call the founding fathers said, called themselves proud Englishmen, and that was the beginning of tyranny. And because you know everything that with the Stamp Act and all that, but you need to go back and look into that, because it's really important how the UK has had its rights eroded, right? It's incremental, right? It's like boiling the frog. And the UK doesn't have free speech, actually. There's not an amendment in the Constitution. There's not a Constitution. It's like it's a tradition of free speech, right? Going back to the Magna Carta, but you don't really have free speech there.
No,
and this is a problem. But you know, the Brits tend to be, and that's why you know people call me, oh, you're an extremist now, because Brits tend to be around the center, right? They go a little bit right, a little bit left. But the problem is the same in the UK, is the same that what's happened over here. And let's call it what it is, because you mentioned BLM, and I want to talk about that in a minute. Sorry, Trevor, I'm so fired up because this is so good for the world. It's such a great moment for the world. And I've been fucking hammered for years for having my stance on these things. So it's so great, because now what we're going to do is we're going to see the benefits of it, and everyone's going to benefit from this, even the maniacs on the left, right? But there's been a Marxist takeover of the left, right? It's not what it used to be. It's just not. You mentioned BLM, right? BLM had on the number one, the two founders were Marxists, and everyone likes to dismiss it. But they were Marxists, right? And they said that what they want is the destruction of the family unit. They said that on their website. And when I came out and I said I'm not backing BLM, I got hammered by Brits. Well, why is that? Why is that? Why are you? I'm like, sorry, go on, Trev.
You know that. I mean, let's go back. There was a time, first of all, someone's asked you, Alice has asked you, does Matthew have OnlyFans? I'll leave you to answer that. Right. I remember.
You don't want to see that. You don't. Maybe 25 years ago. Not now.
A few years ago. Do you remember a few years ago, whenever I was asked to become an ambassador for the Transcendental, basically the David Lynch Foundation, which was TM, Transcendental Meditation, and I became an ambassador for there. It helped at the start with mental health, and I was being promoted. I was meant to go and do different things. Do you remember I was doing all that stuff? And I had an email from the David Lynch Foundation telling me that they did not like the fact that I did not support Black Lives Matter, and it went against what they stood for. I responded. I says, I no longer want to represent you. I no longer want to be a part of your foundation. I find that the fact you're trying to tell me who I can and can't support says a lot about the transcendental meditation movement, and I'm out. And I walked away. There was a lot of companies back then that were all part of the government foundation type things, which were trying to silence people, and they were trying to get. This is why I think some celebrities speak out, and they say things they don't necessarily mean because they're getting a lot of pressure from sponsors to promote an ideology that they don't really like. And that happened to me, and I walked away from it. I said, bollocks to you. I walked away from them.
Well, that's because you have integrity. And look, I mean, one of the things that has annoyed me more than anything about your situation is because I know what's going on behind the scenes, right? And you have to play the game, and you have been unfairly targeted and stopped from doing so much good by petty people. Like, you could have saved so many lives. I mean, you have already, right? But because of these idiots that want to pull other people down. And here's the thing, Trev. The reason why I'm saying this is this. BlackRock, Vanguard, these massive investment firms, right? They've been pushing DEI on all these companies below them. And then the DEI below them, right? They are worried about BlackRock and Vanguard taking their money out. So what they do is they implement these guidelines that nobody there believes, actually. Like, nobody believes the DEI BS. Nobody look, and the thing about Marxists is, why they're so smart is they commandeer the language, right? So if you say Black Lives Matter, you go, I'm not for that. Like, oh, you're not for Black Lives Matter, Black Lives don't matter. No, that's not what I'm saying, right? That is absolutely not what I'm saying. But here's the thing, like I said, this, number one, it was all started on a lie, and they don't want you to say that. And again, I said that over here, Trev, as you know, and I got hammered for it. I got pushed out of Hollywood for it, because I am not going to sit here and let people lie and manipulate me, you, and my kids. That's not right. We should be able to speak. And that was all. And by the way, what happened then? They ran off, right? And they bought 2 houses in Hollywood. And everyone's like, oh, Black Lives Matter. What happened to that? If they really cared about Black lives, they would be in Chicago stopping young Black men shooting each other, right? They were never about that. All you got to do is look at what they do, right?
Well,
look at what they do.
I can't remember the exact day, but it was within the last week. Within the last week, I received an email. I don't want to say what, people can work it out, but I'm not going to say who. Basically, I've had books published with different publishers. And within the last week, I had an email from a publisher telling me about, we are celebrating, this is what they said, we're celebrating Black authors, and we want to highlight this long email. And I did respond. I said, thanks for the email. I said, thanks for the email. I appreciate the fact that you support things. Could you send me an email whenever you're going to celebrate white authors? I just would like to know when that's going to happen. I received a response. We do not appreciate your type of emails. Do not respond to us again. And I just responded going, I don't appreciate you forcing I just responded saying, I don't appreciate you forcing your propaganda down white authors' throats by sending us emails. In future, do not send me any emails. And if you want to cancel my book on sale, do it. I'm happy to walk away from you. Listen, I don't like the fact that people can just send emails out promoting their shit, which I call. But yet, if you respond, and I responded in a nice manner, could you please let me know when? And they don't like to be challenged, and that's what you have, mate. And I'm glad we have someone like President-elect Trump now going to be sworn in January, because in my opinion, I believe he's going to make a lot of positive changes, not only for American people, but I think the onus in the UK lies on the attitude of our own Prime Minister now. And if we don't get a good trade agreement and things don't go well, maybe we'll force our Prime Minister out. And
well, here's the thing, Trev. Look, the dirty little secret, and the reason why they hate Trump so much is because he's a strong man and he doesn't give a shit, right? He doesn't care. He doesn't care about what they have to say. He doesn't care that they call him this. He doesn't care that they call him that, because he knows exactly who he is. Like you don't care what they say about you. Like me, I don't care. They can call me a racist. I know I'm not a racist. It doesn't bother me. But I want to tell you and your followers a little story, if I may. So I am very, very good friends with a female Asian composer. Now, this woman, by the way, is a complete badass. Like, I met her when I was doing Taekwondo. She's very demure, shall we say. She's like barely 5 foot, and she would kick your and my asses, right? Like, she threw me across the room like I was a rag doll, right? She's amazing, and became one of my closest friends. Now, she was a child prodigy. And so figure this, Trev, Asian. So she's a minority. When I mean Asian over here, it's like she's Korean descent. She's a female and she's in a male dominated area, right? Which is composing. It's male dominated. She, and then by the way, she went to become a police officer as well to give back. Like, so she does it. She's like what you call over there a special, but it's no different. Like, there's no separation between reserve officers in the UK, in the US, and real officers. They'll have all the same powers, but they only get paid $1 a year, right? It's a volunteer position. She called me the other day and she goes, I am so angry because now she became one of the biggest composers in America, right? Off her own back, because she's a talent, right? And she said, now everything that I've done has just been taken away from me, because I know now that people look at me and they go, DEI hire, female Asian, didn't work to get there, didn't struggle. And this is someone, she was adopted. She's honestly one of the greatest people I know, works so frigging hard on everything, Trev. And now she said, it's all been taken away from me. And nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about all the people that worked hard to get where they needed to go, Trev. And now, sorry, go on.
Did she vote for Biden?
Oh, no way.
Well, then, if she did,
no way.
Fault. Okay.
No way. No way.
I'm only saying.
Not a chance, dude.
But she's right, though, and she has a point. I mean, this is the thing now, because the culture's changing back. So, I mean, let's say that we are like D-Day minus 49 until we get the D-Day, which is whenever he gets elected in. Yeah. But and things may change, hopefully. But up until then, man, I know dozens of women that are smart, intelligent. But the point is, because of the culture being woke, people do, not all, but people do look and go, oh, I wonder how she got the job. And that's a wrong way to look at it. But that's because of the Biden administration, and because of our previous conservative government, which were, because whatever happens in America crosses straight across the ocean, doesn't it? So it's because of Biden that a lot of things went to shit. I mean, it's because of Biden, in a way, because of a weak American administration made Putin sit up and smile and go, he doesn't have the balls to take me on. And Putin went a little bit mad. Let's be honest. So it's just, but listen, let's look at the positives. Things are changing for the best. I'm really pleased. I can see that you're elated. And
you think?
Yeah. Listen, it's been 38 minutes. I don't stay on too long because I know that everyone's got a busy day.
Is that a bit of a knock, Trev, at me because I just keep talking?
No, it's a knock at me because it is. It's about 20 to 4, and my son's due home he's left school. He's on his way here in the bus, so I make sure that I'm not on whenever he comes home. You know that anyway.
Right. I do know that, and by the way, I'm joking because I know that like we have our little thing where you kind of like come onto my feed and like look, and you're like, what are you doing? Because it's true, you are very mindful of other people's time, and I'm like a battered husband, Trev, like, because I was in Hollywood for so long, and I see people that think the same way that I am. I'm like, please, can I talk to you a little bit longer, please? Don't let me. Oh, it's gone, and now I've got to go and like deal with. Well, I don't have to deal with them anymore, like people like Ruffalo and all those Muppets. But look, it is a massively positive development for the world. In all seriousness, like, here's the thing. And I'm going to say this, Trev, I know you got to go, but we genuinely believed over here that would have been the last election, the last free election, because they would have legalized a bunch of illegals. They would have put them in swing states, and Americans would never have had a say ever again. And so we've literally, and it's going to be bumpy, dude. He is going to deport people. They need to go. He is going to close the borders. And look, I believe that they're going to try and 14th Amendment him. They're going to try and say because of the insurrection that he can't take office. They're just letting it calm down a little bit now. But watch, it's going to be an interesting few months, brother.
I would love to stay on and chat more about this, but I think this is one of the reasons why Harry and Meghan are moving to Portugal, because they honestly know that if he gets in, he's gone.
Are they moving to Portugal?
Yeah, they're buying a house.
Are you serious?
100% serious, yes.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
no, they are worried.
Oh, they are worried. I mean, they've already been looking at properties. They've been spotted there and things. So anyway, I think that's why Harry, now I want to keep going on, but I believe that's why Harry has sort of went and did his own thing for a bit. He knows he's not stupid. But listen,
Harry's weak. I call him Weak Harry.
Listen, everyone, thanks everyone for coming in and joining me on this live. Me and Matthew. Matthew, thanks for being an awesome guest as per usual.
I'm on today 12 if anyone wants to come over, and I am going to keep talking, and I'm going to get you on there as well. I am.
Okay, well, I need to go and prepare for Sebastian. So listen, take care, buddy, and we'll chat
All right,
later,
brother.
okay?
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming and joining me today, everyone. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks to Matthew. Thanks to your questions. Thanks to the members. And listen, things are going to go, hopefully, a lot better, a lot smoother for the United Kingdom citizens. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow for my daily rant. Other than that, take care. Go and watch Matthew at 12 and have a wonderful day.